Okay, turn off your microphones and speak to me because I need to see if I can hear you.
Hi,
Hey.
Lauren.
Hi, Cecilia. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Jean. How do you say your name, Jean? Jeannie?
Jean.
Just Jean?
Yeah.
Jean's my new friend from Guatemala. She's going to help me do a live event for this gathering in January. It's going to be so much fun. Hello,
Yeah.
Cecile. Hello, Heather. Hi, I'm so glad that you were able to make it, Heather. I I I keep playing with times and trying to figure out when is the best time for everybody. And finally, I've just decided on the time that's best for me. And just let everybody else adapt as they do and as they can. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little bit of education and I want to kind of show you how I set up our altar for today. You can see the altar behind me, but I'm going to show you a picture and kind of talk with you about how all of the elements of this particular altar were chosen. And then I'm going to teach you my favorite fire ceremony that I do very often. And then we'll have a little meditation that goes along with that. And then we'll jump into answering your questions from Caleb. We have a couple of those that were emailed in, but we should have time for plenty. So if you have other questions, you can either pop on camera and ask them, or you can put them in the chat and we will just kind of see how it goes and answer as many as we can. So welcome, welcome. All right, so I want to share my screen with you so that you can actually see up close the altar. Right, can everyone see that? Participants can see this. Okay. All right. So the first thing that I chose for the altar was the altar cloth. And you can't see it because there are things on top of it, but this is the triskelion. And this is a really ancient symbol that has had all kinds of different meanings throughout the ages. But to me, and this is the important thing about all rituals, all ceremonies, all traditions, anything that you use in your spiritual practice is that it gets to be any way you want it to be. You get to have your connection with your highest self, with your source, with the force that beats your heart in any way that you want to. And you can get inspiration from any tradition that you want, or you can just make things up. There is no right or wrong way to celebrate, to have ceremony, to have worship, if you will. So the triskelion to me is a symbol of three, which is very, very appropriate for our discussion today because we are always talking about the harmony of mind, body, and spirit in everything that we do. In this particular gathering, I was led this week to talk with you about the three stages of this holiday journey that we're in. We're kind of halfway into the middle of the holiday season, so that we have a lot of stuff behind us already with the Thanksgiving season and with Halloween and things that we've already done, and we're still have about half to go to get through Christmas. And there's this huge temptation for us to allow ourselves to be overwhelmed, to be overworked, to be too busy, too urgent, to be doing too much and robbing ourselves of the joy of the season. So this three-step process of acknowledging all of the things that we have accomplished already in this life, in this holiday season, and taking this moment in the present to set a new intention to go forward into the third part with intentional joy, with joyous creation and deliberate creation in every step that we take going forward. So that's the three of the triskelion, the three of the orange candle that is the work candle of this particular altar. Is that's why those were chosen, for that representation of three. Then the other candles, starting here at the red candle, all of these candles are representing your chakras, the 7 chakras, starting with your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, and then your heart chakra. We are moving from the physical chakras through our beautiful, tender, sacred heart chakra and into the more ethereal chakras of throat and third eye and crown. And again, this journey of threes, of appreciating and grounding into this physical presence and moving this energy of Mother Earth and our beautiful bodies into and through our hearts and into our higher selves and out into the universe. It's just beautiful symbolism. And each of these candles also has a corresponding crystal, also representing the chakras. The heart chakra has 2, a rose quartz and a green aventurine that is in the shape of a heart. And then the selenite that is in the middle of the altar. Selenite is a crystal that is meant to be completely neutral and completely cleansing. So you can cleanse and charge any other stone with a piece of selenite. So the symbolism of the big giant selenite in our ritual today is that we're letting go of all of our past struggles. We're letting go of any challenges or circumstances that no longer please us. We're letting go of old beliefs and patterns. And we are stepping through this beautiful cleansing, this beautiful neutralizing place, and intentionally moving forward with joy, with pleasure, with the deliberate choosing of each of our actions and each of our decisions according to what brings us the most joy. Okay. So the little cauldron that you see here is actually here on my desk with me now because we're going to use that in our ritual. And then this is a little container that sits in my sacred space, usually, of pink sea salt that we're also going to use in the ritual. This is some crushed pink quartz, and this is lavender. And we are going to smudge this area as soon as we are back together and off of screen sharing with some white sage. And this cup would traditionally contain wine that we would sip on as we're doing our preparations and sip on during our ceremony, and reserve some to give back to the earth to cement and celebrate our commitment and devotion to nurturing our planet and receiving the nurturing that our planet has for us. But since it's noon on a Wednesday and I don't have any wine, there's actually kombucha, homemade kombucha in this goblet that I've been sipping on as I was preparing our space today. So that's our altar. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to add or comment on about that? Let me open up the chat so that I can see what's happening over there. Oh, I'm sorry that you have a cold, Cecilia. We're sending you healing. That this lavender that we're going to use in our ceremony will heal you right up, right? Okay, so that is what went into preparing our altar for today. Now, I drew some cards yesterday. I drew 3 in preparation for our gathering that's similar to this that we do on Insight Timer just about every week. And I was shown cards to tell us about the issues and the challenges that we are facing right now. And then the second card is kind of instruction and guidance on how to address that. And then the third card was the result if we actually take these actions. And that has gone into the ceremony. The first card was about being exhausted, being a wounded warrior, being just kind of out of resources and tired and weary and battle weary. And then the second card was the encouragement to be still and choose joy, to make a conscious decision that the next action that we take is going to be because we want to. It's going to be because it feels good to us. It's going to be because it feels in alignment with who we really are and how we really want to show up on this planet. And then the result of that is peace in the third card, the peace of knowing that we have the option of getting all busy with our mind and the labyrinth that it can create and being all getting things done and shooting here and there with the power of our mind. Or we can also step outside of that and be in the stillness, and that we're always embracing the truth, which is that we can always choose, right? So incredibly lovely. All right, so our ritual that we're going to do today, I have another working candle here with me. So we're going to cleanse and smudge the space with some white sage. This again is another symbol, is another symbolic act. Nothing is required. You can use only your intention. You can say, I cleanse this space. I bring myself fully present into this space for this sacred time, for these sacred rituals. And it's done, it's cleansed, but it's fun and it's beautiful. And there are actually scientific properties in the smoke of sage that is actually said to kill germs. And so, why not use some sage to cleanse the space that's around us? You can also use sound. You can use a bell. You can sing. You can do lots of different things to cleanse and prepare your space. But the idea is that you are intentionally coming into the space, coming into this time, and choosing to make this time sacred, choosing to be fully present and bringing all of your highest intention into this time and space. Okay. Now, the fun part of the ritual is we're going to write down some of the things that we are grateful for, because this is a gratitude ceremony. Now, this part of the ritual you can do for anything. I like to do this in the morning and make this an intention setting type of ritual where I write down who I want to be, I write down what I want to create, I write down how I want to be supported by the universe, how I want to show up, anything that is about paving the way for the way I want my day to go. I write it on this sheet of paper. And then when we're through writing it, we're going to put it into the cauldron. We're going to put a white candle. I chose a white candle today for purity, for divine connection, for divine love. You can choose any color you want, and it can represent anything that you want. And if you only have purple candles, then purple can represent anything you want it to represent. So it's so important that you remember that all of these tools that we use in our rituals are just playmates, our companions, our things to use to enrich our experience. They are not necessary. They're only here. So the reason I keep emphasizing this so much today, I believe, is that let me tell you about my experience this weekend. I attended a Native American sweat lodge ceremony. And this was my very first time. It was a completely new and alien experience for me. But this is what I want to do. I want to travel the world and experience all different kinds of worship services and sacred rites and sacred rituals, and really get to know the way that people are feeling their connection to their source, which is the thread that weaves through every single one, and love is woven through every single one, and intention is woven through every single one. And I did experience all of those things. But during this time in the sweat lodge, it was completely dark, and the elder who was conducting the ceremony was throwing all of these mysterious herbs and medicines onto the glowing grandfather stones that were, creating smoke and creating steam. And I felt Caleb, my guides, kind of smiling at me, kind of like, I almost like patting me on my head, going, bless your heart, honey. here you are sweating your ass off in this totally dark sweat lodge with 13 strangers and, seeking the spiritual experience. And it was a sacred and beautiful spiritual experience. But the women who were present were required to be covered up, our shoulders and knees covered, and the men were not. And the men were allowed to just wear shorts. And I get it's a traditional ceremony. We don't want any kind of bare skin, causing different elements to be introduced into this, but it shouldn't be a double standard, right? So these people have every right to conduct their ceremony any way they want to, but I also get to choose whether I'm going to show up again and whether this is something that works for me. And I will attend more sweat lodges for different tribes. I will attend all kinds of different things. I will do my best to adhere to their traditions and their ceremonies and their ways of doing things, but at the same time holding on to the strength and knowledge that I get to decide how I connect with my source. I get to decide how I receive and how I share and how I shine my light. And so do you, right? You don't need me. You don't need any of these things. You only need your own willingness to open up and allow, right? Okay, so off my soapbox. So we're gonna write down our gratitudes, but I did this ceremony when my dog died in like a memorial type thing for him. I wrote down my vow to remember him, my vow to stay in a vibration where I can feel his strong beauty and beautiful soul. And then I put the ashes in a little vial like this. And I put them with his little memorial section. So this fire ritual that is my favorite can serve you in any way that you want it to. Okay. But today we want to talk about gratitude. So feel free to unmute yourself and shout out anything that you want me to write down, or you can do this ceremony for yourself in your space. But I'm very happy to put what you're grateful for into our communal gratitude. So I am, first of all, grateful for you, the people who are walking beside me on this journey. And those of you who are watching the replay, there's no time and space. All of the magic is happening no matter when you happen to be here. So my people, I have gotten to participate lately in a lot of family gatherings, and my family, I'm the baby of 6, so and a couple of us are gone, and we just lost the last of my mother's brothers, so that generation is gone. The last of them is gone, and my eldest sister is the firstborn of the next generation. And so just kind of feeling that, but I'm so grateful that my family seems to be getting closer and closer and closer in the past year. So I'm going to write that. Anything anybody wants to share?
Yeah, sure. I'm grateful for my family also. My oldest sister, I'm next to youngest of 5, and I have 3 older sisters. And my oldest sister was just diagnosed with beginning Alzheimer's, and this is what my mother had. So what has been happening? It's a very horrific for the family to watch, because the brain is like a grape and it just turns into a raisin. But what is happening is interesting, is that the siblings are getting closer, connecting more. I'm on the phone more to my nieces and my nephew. So, it's like every opportunity or challenge that comes to you is an opportunity for growth. I see
Yeah.
it. So I'm thankful for the family. I'm thankful that I can see and that I can walk, and I'm thankful for nature. All of you. So that's really fun.
So, and that's a perfect example, Maggie, of how the deepest, darkest tragedy always comes with gifts. You know, that there's nothing that happens in this life that doesn't come with gifts, right? Go ahead, Jean.
I am grateful that COVID has taught us that we can connect even with technology. And through that technology, I have made some, they're not really accidental, maybe serendipitous connections like the one with you, Lauren. And I'm just grateful for having an extended community that technology allows us to have. It's a gift. It's a gift of COVID to know we can have a spiritual practice in community in different geographies.
Right. So it's made this global community, right? That suddenly you can be friends with anybody, anywhere, anytime. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Anybody else? Hi, Carol. I can only see your Christmas tree. Or
I
a
know.
Christmas tree.
Sorry, I'm late. The time got away from me, and I said, "Oh no!"
No, that's okay. You can watch the replay and see the ceremony up until now. But right now we are writing down on our little piece of paper what we are grateful for. This is the gratitude part of the fire ceremony that we're going
Okay.
to. So if you have anything to volunteer that you want to go on our list, feel free.
Well, I'm grateful for my family, my daughters and granddaughters, and my family,
Okay.
and many, many other things. All my blessings. But if I had to say just one thing, I would say my family.
Right. Okay.
Can you see me now? Because
No, I mean,
no.
sort of. I can sort of see an outline. You look kind of like a ghost.
Right? You do.
It's
Kind of.
because
Is that on
during our
purpose?
channeling on Monday, I was playing around with the backgrounds, and I lost like how to be like my how like have my how to be in person. I don't know how to get it back.
I'm not enough of a Zoom expert to help you, but it's okay. I know who you are. I see your name. I'm not afraid of ghosts, so it's okay that you look like one. All right.
Anyways,
Anybody else
okay.
want to add anything to the gratitude page before we go into our meditation?
I want to say that I agree and reiterate and resonate with what we were all thankful for.
Mhm.
COVID did bring a lot of great things for us, Jean. I very much agree. Yeah, it brought heartache too.
Mhm.
Just part of life, right? And I had written down, I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend time with my family and with friends, like new friends, like all of you. Like I was saying, I don't feel great today. I got a little sick again. I almost didn't want to be here, but I thought, I can sit here and just take it all in.
Right.
And that's all right. Last night I got to see my sister who lives close by, but she came to my work after I got off, and I work at a beautiful resort with gorgeous lights and decorations and ice skating and light shows, and it was just a very nice visit to do that with her. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
That is awesome. That's very much fun. Okay. Sorry, this is Rebel. You can see why he's named that, because he does exactly as he pleases. And if he wants to be in my lap, he's in my lap. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we do in this ritual is I just put the paper in my little cauldron, right? And then we take a wooden stick, again, only because it's fun. Can everybody still hear me? And then I just kind of melt the end of the candle. You kind of see what I'm doing? You're gonna get burned. And then it just stands in there. Okay. So can you see? Right. And then what I do after that is I meditate. I still my mind. I go into the abyss and welcome in whatever messages the universe has for me during meditation. And that's what we're going to do right now. I will usually meditate for about 15 minutes, which is how long it takes the candle usually to burn down. But in the interest of time, we're just going to have a short centering, grounding, bonding type of meditation. And then we're going to get to getting your answers from Caleb. Is that good for everybody? Good. Okay. All right. So get in the most comfortable position that you can. I'm trying to, does anybody know what is the setting that gets the recording to record the person speaking? Can I do that without changing my view?
Are you able to pin yourself?
Pin myself. Let's see. Pin. Okay. All right. We'll see how that works. All right. So honor your body by being in the most comfortable position that you can. And if it is comfortable for you, to create a straight line between your sit bones, where your body is touching your chair, the earth, or the floor, whatever you're sitting on, and the crown of your head, so that you are creating a straight line, more or less, between your sit bones and your crown chakra. This is your central channel. This is how your body sends messages back and forth on your spinal column, but it's also a visual energy channel that you can use to tune into your own energy, to feel your connection to the earth and also your connection to the divine. And we're just going to settle into this position and take 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out together. And with each breath, I would invite you to really bring yourself into this present moment, to let go of everything that happened before, to let go of any worries about what might be next in your day or in your life, and allow yourself to be fully in your place of power, which is in this present moment. And breathe into every cell of your body. All right, first breath in. Let that all the way out. Next breath in. And let that all the way out. The third magical deep breath in. And release. Right, settle into an easy and natural but conscious rate of breathing. And just check in with your body. Maybe wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your shoulders. Send a wave of love from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. and say thank you to this beautiful body that performs so many miracles, that is your vehicle, the vessel for your soul to be able to experience this human adventure that is so full of wonder, that is so full of sights and sounds and smells. Set your intention for this gathering to memorize the feeling of being connected to spirit. Set your intention to understand that your source, your guides, your highest self, the force that beats your heart, is with you in every second. That this is a voice you can hear, a voice that you can listen to, a voice that you can learn to discern from the voice of your ego, to discern from the voice of your old patterns, old ways of being. The only work required of you is your intention, your willingness to allow, your willingness to open, your willingness to listen and recognize this voice. The entities present here today know your heart, know your highest self, know the questions that are deepest and most important to you. I take this time to open up your own heart and your own spirit and strengthen your own connection. Invite your guides to this gathering. Invite your angels, invite your intention. Bring your highest self into this gathering, into this community, into this event. Take 3 deep breaths together to cement this intention, to solidify this feeling of being truly connected to our source, to our highest selves, and to one another, in trust, in faith, in wholehearted community and love. First breath in. Let that all the way out. Next breath in. Release. Magical third breath in. Let that all the way out. And so it is. All right. Now we're going to let this continue to burn until it burns out naturally. And in a perfect world, it will catch the intentions on fire and burn them all away. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm prepared to help it out, right? Okay, so we had a couple of questions that were emailed in. And let's see, is Lisa here? All right, so since Lisa is not here and Carol is, I'm going to do Carol's question first and then Lisa's question second. And then, of course, you can always put your questions into the chat, or when we get finished with these, you can come back and ask them with your human voice. All right, so Carol's question, she wants to know, how can I raise my vibration more so that I may know my purpose? What is my future purpose? All right. We would first like to say hello and welcome and thank you for your curiosity, for your wondering, for your openness, for your willingness to be conduits, to be clear channels, to be receivers of the beautiful divine love and positive regard that is flowing to you in this moment, in every moment. You are precious to all of us in non-physical. We are a collective. We have no form. We have no gender. We have no race. We have no time or space. We are eternal. We are the unconscious, non-physical energy that has always existed from the beginning of creation and will exist until the end of creation into infinity. The voice you hear being translated by the channeler could be the voice of any soul that has ever lived, or any thought that has ever been expressed, any ounce of energy that exists in any corner of the galaxy can and will be present in this gathering and in every moment. Always here, always present. The only work, the only magic is in the allowing, in the translating, in the willing receipt of this energy and the translating it into words, into art, into music. You are all channelers. You are all conduits. You are all beings of spirit, divine, immortal, living a beautiful and brief existence focused in this human body. We say again that this specific configuration of energy that is you, that is represented in you in this human experience, has never existed before and will never exist again. You are unique in your sovereignty. You are unique in the specific focusing of vibration in this human body, in this human lifetime. Who you are will go on. The essence that is you will continue and will be forever, but will never reappear in a human body in exactly this way. We say this to remind you to celebrate your individuality, celebrate your sovereignty, celebrate this opportunity to mold this experience in the way that you choose. And this brings us to the question of our dear one, Carol, and how she is to raise her vibration in order to achieve her purpose. And the question as to what is your purpose. And we must remind you that you know this, that your purpose is joy. Your purpose is creativity. Your purpose is bringing your wondering and your curiosity and your uniqueness and your sovereignty into this very powerful experience that you are having, and honoring the deliberate creator that you are. In this way, your choice can change from moment to moment. Your purpose is joy. Your path to joy is yours to create. And we would remind you, as it feels as if we have been doing very often lately, in private messages to our channeler, in group messages, in individual messages, this has been coming through so often. You cannot get this wrong. You cannot fail in your task, in your purpose as a human being on this planet. And as you look around at others in your human patterns and your human expectations and your human judgments, you may have the tendency to look at the life of a human being here and to judge it unworthy, to judge it without value and being wasted because of choices that you deem bad, in the light of choices that you deem harmful. And we are here to remind you that everything in this human existence, everything on this human plane, every experience, every substance, every war, every argument, every bit of physical matter that you can touch and feel in this human existence is here serving a purpose. Now, never believe that there is a destiny that is already laid out for you, that you have no choice. You always have choice. You are a master creator, and you are creating this life with your thoughts, with your intentions, and with your physical actions, always preceded by the powerful free will of your choice. And so, dear Carol, our advice to you, as it always is to stop and to be in stillness, to be in appreciation. Note the fire, bringing your gratitude, bringing your intentions, bringing your prayers and blessings into a different form to be transmuted by the earth, by the divine, and delivered back to you. And so in this way, Carol, are you witnessing this human life, discerning and sorting through and making your choice as to which is the step that you want to take in joy? And when you take this moment to truly tune into the magic of your human emotions, which are your GPS, are your signpost, are your navigation system to let you know what it is that you are creating and how you are creating and what your vibration is, and then adjusting your actions and your thoughts and your choices based on what feels the best, you can intentionally adjust your vibration higher and higher and higher according to your wishes, choosing the thoughts that feel the best, choosing the actions that feel the best, never allowing yourself to be pulled in a direction that you don't want to go by what feels like obligation, by what feels like responsibility. You always have the option to either choose not to engage in those activities or to find a way to bring joy to those activities. This is your power. This is your superpower, choosing your thoughts, choosing your actions, and in this way, raising your vibration and moving in the direction of your purpose, which is joy. There's no wrong way to get there. There's no right way to get there. If you enjoy every step on your journey, you have already succeeded. You have already fulfilled your purpose. All right, Carol, is this good?
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Do you need more clarity, more anything that you want to add to that?
No, that was perfect.
Awesome. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So in case we run out of time, let's go to Lisa's question next so that she can see it on the replay. I am looking for guidance regarding my path. What is my purpose? Lisa, I believe Caleb has already answered that part of your question for you. I am so enjoying creating. I am enjoying my shop and all those I come to meet. I also have always felt like words were meant to be a part of my journey, and I'm struggling to connect what I'm doing now with how to use my words. This seems like more than one question, but I don't mean it to be. If Caleb has any guidance on how I am best able to contribute to this life, I would be the most grateful. All right. So again, it feels as if Caleb mostly answered that already, as it was sort of the same question that Carol had. But let's just give it a moment and see if there's anything more to add to that. Dearest darling Lisa, as we have already stated to our dear one, Carol, your purpose is joy. You are on your path. You are enjoying creating. You are enjoying the ways that you are moving around in the world and the choices that you are making. You are engaged in being deliberate about the way that you show up in the world and making choices as to who you want to be and how you want to be witnessed and how you want to be remembered. Our feeling and our advice to you is to look at these choices, look at the way you are deciding how you want to be witnessed and asking yourself why, asking yourself what has gone into this feeling of who you want to be and how you want to be seen, and examining every facet of that to be certain that these are the desires of your heart, of your highest self, of who you truly are, the divine immortal being that is the core of Lisa, and examine if there are parts of this image of yourself that you are crafting and creating and bringing forth that are not in service of who you really are. See if there are ways of being that you have decided based on outside influences, based on messages from the world, based on anything, any sort of information that has come to you from any outside source that is influencing the image of who you really are, that you are crafting and presenting to the world. You are meant to be who you are in your absolute and beautiful and unique individualness. You were not meant to mirror or reflect any other person, any other idea, anything other than the beautiful and unique soul that came forth on purpose to have this experience in this human body. Embrace your love of words. Feel your way into what feels like the best way to create with words. When there is struggle, when there is challenge, look for the information that is always present. Look for the gifts that are always present when you, in your beautiful human adventures, encounter what feel like roadblocks, what feel like insurmountable challenges. If you can adjust your perspective to, instead of resenting or pushing against the challenges, the barriers that seem to appear as you are progressing toward your joy, and instead envision yourself lifted up and able to move around and look at these obstacles and challenges, at these walls, at these blocks from all different perspectives. And so when you are looking down on your struggles, in your case, Lisa, your struggle with wanting and yearning, but not understanding exactly how to incorporate your love of words into your creativity, what does it look like when you are looking down from above, imagining yourself as the divine being that can see forever in every direction, with no worries, with no fears, with no trepidation, with only curiosity and observation? What messages do you see in this struggle that is presenting itself in order to give you information, to give you guidance, to teach you and add to the well of information that you already have, that you are using to craft this life and to craft the image of who you are and how you wish to show up in this life? Oh, we love you so much. We witness you in your feelings of blame, of shame, of judging your own past, of judging your own actions. We would so love for you to join us in bathing every action of your life up until now, every action of your life in this moment, every action of your life in the future in love, unconditional love, with no attachment to right or wrong, no attachment to black or white, no attachment to accepted or not accepted, only love in everything up until this point, only love now, and only love going forward. And in this way, your life must evolve in beauty. Your growth must be bathed in love and purpose and joy. Yeah. Okay. All right, Lisa, I wish that you could have been here present with us in this moment, but I hope that the replay serves you. All right. Any questions, any comments, anything that anybody wants to add? Oh, my computer is wanting to die. Hang on. Hang on. It's important that I plug it in. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm glad that I caught it before it just disconnected us, right? Okay, y'all are a quiet bunch today. Okay. All right, so Cecilia wants to know regarding information regarding frequent illness. And Jean, how do we as individual human beings bring love to reduce the hatred around us? Yeah. Okay. Let's see, how are we on time? We're good on time. Okay. These are two questions, but really they are the same question. And the question is, how do you as human beings, as enlightened, beautiful spiritual beings on the leading edge of thought, the spiritual beings that are deliberately on this planet striving to make a difference, striving to be leaders and teachers and influencers of this world through your connection to source, through your connection to spirit. And so one question is how you affect the physical, the body, the human vessel that you are walking around in. And the second is affecting something that is outside of you that you assume is existing in another human being. Our answer is the same. Everything is solved. Everything is evolved. Everything is served by bathing it in love. This is your superpower. This is truly your only power to impact circumstances outside of yourself. Now, your body would feel as if it is within your control, that it is within your realm of creation, and in many, many ways it is. But there is only the flow of well-being and the blocking off of well-being. So every symptom, every circumstance, every condition is a result of resistance, is a result of either allowing or disallowing the flow of well-being to you. Now, this is a vast and complex subject because you are vast and complex human beings. And you may feel as if you are allowing in all of the abundance in the world, but then something comes along to remind you that you do indeed have resistance. And if you are grateful and thankful and saying, bless you to your illness, bless you to your condition, bless you to a circumstance that brings itself to your attention, and thanking it for the gift of awareness, thanking it for the gift of showing you, one, that there is resistance, and also to help you see where the resistance is. Because nothing can enter your realm of creation without your permission and without you being a vibrational match to whatever that circumstance is. Now, in the area of caring for your body, there is a cause and effect relationship on this planet. But the strongest and most important cause and effect is your belief, your perspective and viewpoint as it regards the actions that you take regarding your body. What this really means is that if you believe that something is bad for you and you do that, then it is indeed bad for you and will indeed have bad or unwanted results with your body. The opposite is true as well. If you believe that something is good for you and you engage in that good activity, then it will indeed be good for you. Now, envision, if you will, that you have a belief that a certain food is good for you because someone else has told you this. There are so many messages around how you care for your body. So you are listening to the messages around you that this is good for you, and therefore you engage in eating this food, doing this activity, doing whatever it is that you have been taught or told is good for you, but you are unable to do this in joy because it's a food that you hate. It is an activity that you do not enjoy, but you are making yourself do it because you have become convinced by outside messages that this is the path to health. Guess what the result is going to be? The result is going to be discomfort and dis-ease and dysfunction, because the start and end is in balance. You are seeking outside of yourself information about how to be in yourself and in your body, and then basing your actions on this belief that you don't really believe because someone else gave this to you outside of yourself, and imposing this on your body, and your body responds with dis-ease, with dysfunction, with discomfort. Now, let's look at that the other way around completely, that you, in your sovereignty, in your divinity, in your all-knowing and connection to infinite intelligence, and your connection to your wise and wonderful and amazing body, are asking the question, what is good for me, for this being, for this body? What brings this body joy? What is this body yearning for? What does this body ask for? And you create your belief from this place, and you decide on the joyful action, the food that you're going to take, the movement that you're going to engage in, the environment that you are going to surround yourself with, the water, the time that you spend in self-care of your body and in meditation and in pampering, and all of the myriad ways that you can communicate and commune with your body, and you make those decisions from this place, then the end result must be ease, must be health, must be well-being, because you are perfectly aligned from start to finish. Tapping into, tuning into, plugging into your infinite wisdom, your connection to your source, and then making the decisions with and in harmony with your body from that point, and creating ease and banishing and disallowing dis-ease, discomfort, and dysfunction. And again, always welcoming your symptoms with love and gratitude and appreciation for the information that they bring. This feels like a complete answer to the question about your body and frequent illness and being able to identify and adjust. There are so many factors in your environment that an illness or a response can help to bring your attention to. And as human beings in this body, you have a lot of choices in your environment as to whether you include or exclude chemicals and fragrances and other irritants and things that are not necessarily pleasing to your body, whether you are going to be discerning about the foods that you eat and the beverages that you drink. And there are many, many choices. And if you make the choice to be in joy before making all of those decisions, then everything will always work out in the end. The next question is about hatred. There is a pervading and pervasive and multiplying feeling among human beings and among groups that is the embracing of sameness. And from the beginning of time, there has been a tendency among human beings to segregate yourselves by physical characteristics, by geographical locations, by belief systems, by wants and desires. And this segregation among you continues. But there is a feeling, and it is growing on this planet, and as witnessed by groups such as this that are gathering, and so many human beings who are joining you in this quest to be and to show up in a different way and to make a positive impact on the world. And our message to you would be that you can never solve anything by giving it your attention. So hatred cannot be banished by noticing it. Hatred can only be solved by turning your energy and your attention away from the signs and the symptoms of what feels like hatred to you, and instead giving all of your energy and all of your attention to love. This is exactly what Jesus meant by saying, turn the other cheek. Because when you engage in activities that are abhorrent to you, even if you feel as if you are fighting against them, you are trying to banish them, you are trying to dampen them down, all you are doing is adding energy, adding life, adding impetus to that which you wish to banish. Mother Teresa was asked to attend an anti-war rally, and she politely refused and said, when you have a pro-peace rally, invite me. I will be there to support what it is that is wanted, but I will never be there to give my energy and attention to that which is unwanted. And this is why the war on drugs, this is why wars on anything never have the outcome that is intended, because all of your attention, all of your energy, all of your nurturing, even if it feels as if you are trying to demolish or abolish or banish something, your energy is nourishing it. Your energy is helping it to grow. So the only answer to hatred, the only answer to dissent is to turn the other cheek and to turn your attention to love and to absolutely have the faith and the knowledge and the confidence that as you are building this beautiful bubble of light and wondrous creation of positive energy, that it will spill out without any effort, without any striving, without any fighting against. The brighter your light shines, the more it reaches, and the further it reaches, and the more it bathes the unwanted in this beautiful light and energy. And that hatred is allowed to atrophy from lack of attention, just like a muscle that isn't used, just like a plant that isn't watered and is cut off from the light, it's cut off from the energy. Okay. Right. So, Jean and Carol, are your questions answered? We still have plenty of time for other questions. I think 12 to 1 to we go to 1:30, right? So we have time. Maggie says, I love the
Yeah.
simplicity of seeking and being the joyous, complicated humans. It takes more effort to slow down and go into silence to find the deep joy within. Yes, absolutely. And Heather says, I have a commitment that I need to show up at, so I have to disappear. Okay. So I guess Heather's gone. I love you, Heather, if you are able to watch this. Okay. So who wants to speak? Sandra has a raised hand. Sandra, go ahead.
Hey.
Okay, wait. Who's speaking? Carol, you can speak.
No,
It's
I
your
said
art.
yay because
Yay,
Sandra raised your
okay.
hand.
Zoom etiquette. I love it. All right, Sandra, what's your question?
Oh, thank you, you and Caleb. Those were some really interesting answers. They were very helpful. Very helpful. Thank you.
Good.
I have a question about finances, and I'm looking at it from different perspectives. And so one of the things about the finances is I get, like I said, I've been just kind of twisting it around. Anyway, we create a value, right? We are the of our worth. And then we created our environment all around us. And then we had to kind of maintain this environment, right? So we call them bills, or we call them things that we want to do, right? And we're like creating this thing here. So when we actually look at the value that we are in order to maintain it, then we know what we want to create, and then we put a value on it to kind of maintain what we've already created. So you understand it? It's kind of like what we've already created, we want to maintain, but then we need to create more, and we call it finances, in order to continue to maintain our creation. Does that make sense? I'm kind of twisting around how I'm looking at things. Does it make sense?
Not really. I mean, Caleb probably gets it because but Lauren could use a little clarity.
All right. Okay. So we have our environment that we created, right? And so we have to maintain.
So like our lifestyle, you mean?
Yes, our lifestyle.
Your lifestyle, okay.
Created, right? But it's based on our worth, who we are, the value that we are, because we are master creators. So we've already created all of this around us, but we had to maintain it, right? And we call it bills, or we call it, things we need to continue to take care of in that structure, right? But then we want to create more, right? So we're like, there's like a gap that I hear whenever people talk about finances. There's like a gap. This is what I created, and I want to maintain this, but then this is what I want, but it has to keep maintaining this. And there's a gap in there, and I'm trying to figure out how do you bridge that gap.
Okay, so is the extra that you want an improved lifestyle, or just more money, or?
It's more of a little bit of both, because you want to maintain the lifestyle that you already have, right? You want to maintain it because it's a beautiful lifestyle. And
do you want to maintain it, or do you want to change it and make it bigger?
You can make it bigger. Sometimes it's not a matter of bigger. It's like just a matter of maintaining. Or
is this a question for you, or is this a question for humankind?
It's actually for me. I'm just looking at finances different, because humankind is completely different. Right. That's a whole totally different. So basically, because so I've been working on my project, and stuff, and so I have been struggling with kind of figuring that one out. But I had to kind of look at what I'm maintaining right now, because both were supposed to be based on finances as part of it, part of my creativity, and part of it was part of to pull in some finances. And so the value that I want to create is different than the value I already have created. And so there's like a gap, and I'm trying to close that gap. So I'm looking at it from a different angle. So I want to know what Caleb has to say from closing that gap, as
Okay.
opposed to saying, just create more. I can't say create more, but I'm trying to close that gap.
All right, let's just
Oh,
see.
okay.
Hmm. Ah, we love you so much. We witness your shenanigans around money with this a bit of indulgent amusement and curiosity. It's a there are so many messages. We have shared so many messages through this channel, through many other channels regarding the subject of money. And the more we say, the more is shared, the more questions seem to emerge. But there is always a root, there is always a core, and there is always a trick and a secret that is revealed that will help to answer the question that is before you in any given moment. And it will always come back to the way that you are feeling and the way that you are looking at the things, the activities, the events, the exchange of energy that is your currency in the way that your world works in this moment. And as you know, the actual physical appearance of currency is becoming more and more and more rare, and at the same time becoming more and more and more abundant. At the birth of your nation, this nation, the United States, only a couple of centuries ago, there was beads and gold bars and tobacco and very simple exchanges of currency in very small amounts. And in that time, there are now trillions and trillions and trillions of what you call dollars and units of measurements of currency that are mostly digital, that are mostly an understanding between human beings as to what the value of something is and what the amount of ones and zeros and numbers and attachments that are exchanged among these. And most of it is very much made up. Most of the values of things that are assigned to physical items on your planet are just made up. So you could see a pen that costs $2 and the very same exact pen sold in a different place, in a different atmosphere, with maybe some letters on it, that is sold for $200. So the only difference in that is your perception and what you have decided has value and what you have decided you are willing to trade in your own energy or currency in exchange for this item. And the question is around maintaining or expanding or bridging the gap between where you are financially and where you want to be financially. And the answer seems to be to find a way to embrace the feeling of the place that you want to be. And many times this feels like a giant gap because it is not something that you know how it feels. You have not experienced the feeling of having the larger amount of resources, the larger amount of funds available to you, and therefore the larger lifestyle that you are aspiring to with the extra money that is in this gap. So our encouragement would be for you to settle into a feeling of your current lifestyle and identify all of the aspects of your life that cause you to feel in a certain way, that are associated with a certain money value, with a certain income bracket, if you will. So, for the simplicity of numbers, imagine that your current lifestyle is $100,000 a year lifestyle, and settle into that and feel what that feels like, and get familiar with consciously what this feeling of being in this income bracket feels like. And then identify what it would feel like to be in a larger bracket in one area. So, for instance, if you were to be in a larger financial bracket, would you make changes to your home? And what would those changes be? And so make those changes in your mind or on paper, or drawing pictures or cutting pictures out of magazines, and envision what that feels like. And then spend time in that feeling each day of that larger, different, more beautiful, more expanded, in a different location, whatever it is that is different about your physical living space, and feel what that feels like until that becomes the habitual feeling that replaces the current lifestyle feeling, and will begin to help you to vibrationally close the gap in your lifestyle in that area. Then take all of the other areas of your life that are represented by the exchange of currency, by the exchange of this energy of money, and do the same thing with those. What would you do differently in the area of caring for your body? Would you eat different foods? Would you wear different clothing? Would you get more frequent massages or any other kind of care? Paint the new picture of your life in this area and feel your way into this expanded, richer, more luxurious, more spacious lifestyle in that area of your life. And the same with your leisure and your freedom, and what types of things you would be doing with this more expanded, more better funded lifestyle. Be specific about the places that you would go and how it would feel to be in these places, and the experiences you will have and the people that you will meet. And put on the feeling of this new and expanded lifestyle in that area of your life. Examine every single thing about your life and draw a new picture, write a new story, and feel your vibration expand and fill in this greater container that you have created for yourself. So, in this way, you are taking the vessel that you are now, that is capable of containing and holding the amount of money that you have now, and you're making it into a container that is capable of holding more. And the universe abhors a vacuum in your world of physics and metaphysics, and you must fill in this void that you have created by expanding this vessel with more. So you're making room for more abundance, and you're making room for allowing in abundance in whatever that looks like. It could be gifts, it could be actual money, it could be opportunities, it could be partnerships, it could be any number of ways that the universe can supply you with the resources that you require in order to create this new lifestyle that you are envisioning and growing into. So you are changing who you are making space, you are becoming a vessel that matches the greater lifestyle that you are seeking to create. Okay. Does this feel complete, Sandra?
It does. It does definitely close the gap a lot. They said a lot that was pretty cool. I was like, oh yeah, that is That is a good, unique way. I just have to figure out now how often you do that, right? Because sometimes you get slapped back into reality really quick from that new story.
Yeah. Okay. So Coach Lauren's going to help you with that. So in my journaling that I do every day, I have 5 journal prompts. The first is my magic orchid, which is a touchstone memory or thought or dream or something that feels amazing, that always makes me feel good, that I can think of anytime I want. The second is a series of I am statements and affirmations. So those could be I am prosperous, I'm inspired and inspiring, I am wealthy, I am a money magnet. And then the third is the I am creating. And then the fourth, actually, I guess there's only 4. The fourth is engaging with my vision. So I have this vision for my life that includes, the courses that I'm creating and the events that I'm envisioning all over the world and the travel that I want to do. And so every morning I engage with that vision. I write down some keywords in my journal and I sit with that feeling of what it will feel like when I can pop off to Ireland anytime I want to, when I can pop off to Guatemala anytime I want to and have an event and do my thing, right? And then you live your day in that way. And when reality shows up and says, okay, yeah, but you got to pay the electric bill, you go, that's all right. This is awesome. I have what I need for this moment. And I have total faith that all of the things that I'm wanting for my life are coming. They are right here, and I'm just going to be a vibrational match to them, and as often as I can. And if you can be Miss Sunshine 50% of the time.
Thank you,
I
Lauren.
had I have a 5th one for her.
Okay. Go
I
ahead,
do
Carol.
a vision board every January. I buy one of those big white posters, and I cut out all kinds of images from magazines of places I want to go and things that I want. And so that's really good. I think it's Jack Canfield and some of them that said they did that and they got the houses they wanted and everything. So I've
Yeah.
been doing that now for a few years.
Yeah, I've heard John Assaraf talk about that, and Mike Dooley. And I also have a vision board, and
Yeah.
it right now has the cover of my next book on it that I haven't written yet. But
Yeah.
I made the cover and put it on there. And it has the Enchanted Ireland tour that I want to go on in January. So yeah, a vision board is very helpful in helping you to feel your way into this different lifestyle that you want to manifest.
Yeah, that's how I wrote my book. I had cut out pictures of books and best-selling authors and all kinds of things, and I ended up writing my book last year. So
Right.
I think vision boards are very powerful.
Yeah, I agree. So Jean, did you get the answer to your hatred question?
Yes and no.
Okay. Tell us
And
more, because we've got a little
I
more time.
understand the idea of focusing on love and focusing on beauty and joy and spreading that.
Mhm.
And in a way, I understand the idea that was expressed about Mother Teresa about not engaging at all in the ugliness and the hatred or whatever that is so prevalent around us. I understand that, but I also feel rather intensely that if we don't shine a light on the ugliness and the hatred, it will be invisible to the point of no one doing anything about it, to the point of it being destructive. I think it's already at that point. And so it feels to me like I need to be a witness to prevent further deterioration or encroachment by the hatred and the ugliness in the world.
Can you give a specific example
Of
something that I can feel that there's something that you feel compelled to fight against, to
I
stand up
think
against?
I think racism in all its forms is rising around the world. I think misogyny is rising again. I feel greedy and powerful people. Politically, the word is authoritarianism, but it feels more to me like people who only want for themselves and who are willing to hurt others in their reach for power. And it terrifies me that if enough people don't pay attention and shine a light on this, that other people who are not necessarily hate-filled, but if the middle ground is all full of apathy, if those of us on the end of the spectrum of loving don't expand and I understand the idea of segregation and groups and all, but if we don't expand our vision and awareness of what's out there, if we don't shine a light on it, it will grow like a cancer.
Okay. So the message, let's just see what Caleb says, because that's I'm feeling tongue-tied. Caleb never feels tongue-tied. Okay. You can never create in the reality of another person. Seems to be the overarching and simplest message regarding your responsibility as enlightened beings on this planet that seems to be full of hatred, full of violence, full of discrimination, full of different sectors and different types of people fighting and battling against one another. This seems, as you have said, to be getting worse, but the reality is that it's not. The reality is that the light has been shown on racism. The light has been shown on misogyny. However, there is a prevalence in your culture, in the global culture, to highlight and magnify and blow up the things that are shock-worthy, the things that are headline worthy. You mentioned the middle masses, the apathetic masses that are not participating. We would venture to say that more of them than you think are erring to the side of being in stillness, of being in care of their own communities, being care of their own families, being in a place of sharing and nurturing and giving to one another without the need to be out in a bright and global type of place. And if you imagine this, if you can picture your globe and that each little community is being nurtured, being cared for, being tended to by the small individual lights that are members of that community. And so the whole entire globe is dotted with all of these small lights that are tending to the individual communities. And then there are others who are stronger voices that are tending to larger fires, tending to larger communities, tending to a greater number of people, a greater number of influences and good works. And then larger and larger and larger and larger lights until you do have global personalities who are having an influence that is all over the planet. But the way that this works is that, yes, this person who is shining such a bright light and being seen by so many people is no more powerful than the small light in the small community, because that small light, that small seeming nurturing that is going to that small circle of people is then extending in strength and warmth and in power to a larger circle of people, and to everyone that they know, and everyone that they know, and everyone that they know. So eventually all of these small lights are creating this beautiful web of light that is embracing the earth and instilling love and light and joy in every area. It is not our job as light bringers. It is not your job as way showers to judge, to place a label upon the way that anyone is moving in this, on this earth and on this planet. And when we as human beings insist on impacting the behavior of other human beings, we only add to the division. We only add to the conflict. It feels as if we are being blind. It feels as if we are ignoring issues that deserve our attention. But there is always a way to find the opposite of the negative circumstance that we wish to eradicate and give our attention to its opposite. You can always choose to love and embrace and to vote with your feet, to vote with your money, to vote with your attention and intention, to give power on your globe, in your politics, to those who will bring the light and abolish the dark. This human experience was not meant to be simple. This human existence was not meant to be smooth and without conflict and without differences. The conflicts, the varied opinions, the different races, the different sexes, the different genders, the different ways of being, even the different climates, were designed to add variety and depth and contrast to this human adventure. And there's joy to be found in adjusting your perspective, in adjusting the way that you wish to serve, adjusting the way that you wish to show up on this planet. And at the end of this experience as a human being, you will be able to look back and see how each experience was a beautiful scene, was a dark scene that added depth and wonder and interest and contrast to this hero's journey that you are on. And it is a hero's part that makes you want to seek to make things right. It is a hero's heart that makes you want to protect, that makes you want to stand in battle against forces that seem to be in opposition. Your clearest and easiest path forward is to always seek to be in love, always seek to be in light, always seek to be in the path of least resistance, which means that it is the path that feels the best to you, that feels inspiring to you, that feels as if you will be in service. The path of least resistance for you, beautiful human, may be to run into a burning building to save another soul. You are the only one who can choose, and you get to choose in every moment. Okay, that felt like a lot.
Wow.
Jean, does that give you any clarity?
Some.
It's,
Yes.
you know, you did not ask a simple question, right? And you know that it's a question that you as a questing human loving soul on this planet will need to ask yourself every day. And but that feels like the easiest thing to do, is that in every situation, check in with, you know, how you are feeling. And if you are feeling outraged, does it feel good to feel outraged? Or does it feel bad to feel outraged? It might feel good. It might feel like, oh, hell yeah, I'm wading into this fray. I am brandishing my sword and, you know, abolishing these things that are, you know, speaking so loudly to me. Or your outrage may feel out of alignment with who you are. But you get to choose, and you get to decide action by action by action. Is this, do I want to wade in with my fists and my teeth and my claws? Or do I want to soar over with angel wings and sprinkle fairy dust, you know? We always get to choose, right? Okay. Anybody else have anything to add? We're about 7 minutes over. I apologize. I always mean to respect your time.
I would like to add something to
Okay.
that, because
Yeah.
hatred is a form of fear, of some kind that people just don't, you know, it's just built up into hatred. And so therefore it's just a form of fear. And most people don't see that. They don't separate it. They just call fear, fear, and hatred, hatred, but it's just like a expected version of fear. And so, they pretty much, when you look at it from that point of view, I know from my point of view, I try to be the example. So coming from a culture that is highly in deal with racism all the time, I don't go in that direction. I basically am the example. With the way I see people, people are people. They just have a certain behavior pattern based on how they were raised. And so for me, in the United States, I think we can get rid of racism if we just get rid of white American, Black American, Asian American and stuff. And if you were born on this continent, you're a Native American. If you immigrated, you weren't born on it, you're an immigrant American. That cuts out a whole lot, a whole lot of this whole racism issue that we have going on. Most people don't even think about that. You're a human being first. And then I don't know why we have the separation of different cultures anyway. And I know part of it has to do with the whole slavery thing. And being in the South, but here in Texas, the South is really bad when it comes to racism. And it shows up in so many different ways. But I don't let it affect me, because that's not who I am. So I become the example of who I want to be. I raise my kids the same way. And in every place I've been into, I've never had an issue with it. If somebody has any kind of racism behavior pattern, it stays with them. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be the example. I'm going to bring it. Maybe I don't have the skill set, but it won't be because I'm a Black female. It'll be because I don't have the skill set. If I have the skill set, it won't be because I'm a Black female. It's because I have the skill set.
Right.
And so, yeah, it comes in every single thing that you do. And so, yeah, sometimes my anger does go, and it does feel good. It's like, I have a solution, and you're going to hear my solution.
Right.
If it comes out like the phoenix, then it comes out like the phoenix, or it may come out like a gentle puppy, but it won't be because I'm a Black female. It'll be because I have somebody with a solution. So I become the example.
Yeah.
And if you meet my kids, you'll find that they are the example also. It's not about a female. It's not about being Black. It's not about being a man. It comes down to who has the better solution and can we implement it.
Right. Being in the solution instead of shining light on the problem. That's brilliant, Sandra. And also, if you look at someone who is behaving in a way that looks like hatred, and you understand that their hatred is coming from fear, then it's suddenly so much easier to have compassion for the hater, right? It's like, if we could somehow find a way to soothe your fear, we would calm your hatred and everything would be better. And yeah. So good. All right. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful to be walking beside you on this journey. I look forward to the next place that we see each other, wherever that might be. At least two of you I'm going to see tomorrow. So I love you guys. And if you are watching the replay, I am sorry that you weren't here because we had a good time. But I love you all equally, and I will look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks,
Yay.
Lauren.
Okay.
It was great.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.